so what we've done is we've presented it to the National Federation for the possibility of a national rule change for next year. That meeting will be in the next couple of weeks in Kansas City, and we'll see what happens.
Just real briefly, do you think it looks hopeful, or would you say it's up in the air?
Well, they're certainly interested in it. I was on the National Rules Committee a year ago, and if we would have had some experimentation, we were looking for something for a rule change at that time. And so we came home and we devised this experiment, and I think the committee is very interested in what has progressed in Kentucky and Iowa this year as far as the free throw situation is concerned.
Let's hit one other thing just real quickly here. I know you had a football meeting today to look at the playoff situation, whether you go to a district format or keep with the points. Just briefly, do you think there might be a change?
The Board of Control this morning approved the district football concept for Class A, 1A, 2A, and 3A. So within the next few weeks, you'll see some procedural things being developed, and we're moving in the direction of district football at this time.
Okay, what's been talked about before, and now we'll see it on the gridiron. Thanks for joining us, Rick, and great tournament.
It's always my pleasure. Thank you.
Let's go back upstairs to Larry and Gary.
Okay, Tim, thanks very much. Ames and North on the floor getting ready for their lower bracket 3A semifinal. The winner moves on against the defending 3A champion Waterloo East. They defeated Carroll Kemper 78-75. We'll be back at Veterans Memorial Auditorium in just a moment after this pause for station identification.
Used to be if you didn't have a truck, you couldn't hang with the boys. Well, they just upped the ante. Now you got to have a Ford. Why? First of all, Ford F-150 gives you more horsepower and a bigger cargo box. The Ford also has a rugged twin I-beam suspension. Chevy suspension is similar to some passenger cars. Passenger cars? Can you picture yourself four-wheeling in the family car? Then why picture yourself in a Chevy when your Ford dealer can put you in a real truck for less money?
On the Fox 17 Iowa Watch, Spring Improvements. The state has awarded Fort Dodge a $396,000 grant for housing rehabilitation. That's good news for Fort Dodge and for Iowa.
A recent survey of the Des Moines area showed more people purchase furniture from homemakers than any other store. It must be homemakers' low prices, the quality guarantee, and the customer service. Homemakers' business has tripled in the last 3 years. Join the thousands of furniture shoppers who have switched to homemakers. Come see what your neighbors already know. Quality guaranteed, customer service, and the lowest prices. Homemakers West and Homemakers Furniture Outlet.
Hi, I'm John Brown, Brown Motor Company, Perry, Iowa. When you make the drive to Perry to buy your next car, you'll leave saying, what a deal!
KDSM, Fox 17, Des Moines.
North, it's a battle of two of the state's best players. Earl Beecham for North, and Hoiberg for Ames. I think Tim Seaman's going to get that matchup started a little bit early. Let's go downstairs to Tim.
You're exactly right, Larry. I'm joined by a couple of ladies that will be cheering their hearts out once this game gets started. Closest to me is Randy Minks, the mother of Earl Beecham, and on the far side, Karen Hoiberg, the mother of Fred Hoiberg from Ames. And you know, a lot of people would say, how do you get the mothers from the opposite teams together? But this has been easy. You folks are quite close, aren't you?
Yes, we are.
Tell us a little bit about that. I know with the boys playing basketball, I guess it all kind of comes in stride. Is that right?
Yeah. Starting the summer of their 8th grade year, they started playing AAU basketball together in the summers, and in that way became real well acquainted with each other. They used to see a lot of each other in the summers before they got their driving licenses, which meant Randy and I got to know each other. Yes. Because we were transporting them back and forth all the time.
Let's talk about the future for you, both you ladies. Your basketball careers aren't done because both your sons have bright futures ahead. Fred Hoiberg, of course, has already made a commitment to college, but Earl has not, and I'm interested to see how that's affected the family life. I'm guessing the Hoiberg family has been pretty much at ease these last few weeks with the recruiters not at the door.
It was a real learning experience, and it was a lot of fun while it was going on, but it has been a big relief off of Fred's shoulders, I know, and he's playing more at ease, I think, without that decision.
Randy, tell us about how things have been at your house. I mean, is the phone still ring and the door still found?
Yes, we've had a very hectic household this year, and I think Sunday after Earl decides what he's going to do and what school he's going to attend, maybe we can get other things, you know, back in gear the way that it has been. We have been very busy, the phone has, and I'm sure once the tournament's over with and Hurl has decided what he wants to do, I think, it's a lot of pressure on him right now, too. But, until then, there's nothing else we can do. It's just to wait, because it is his decision, and he is, he's looking at everybody.
Is there any chance we might see you both in an Iowa State crowd together someday?
That's a good possibility.
Is there?
I'd like to say Fred and Hurl usually play pretty well against each other, but they really play very well together, and I'd like to see that continue.
A little recruiting here from one of the mothers, I think we could say, quite frankly, down here on the sideline. It's been a game that's been talked about for weeks, maybe a championship matchup, but you'll settle for a semifinal matchup, I guess, right, ladies?
I agree. Randy and I talked on the phone last night, and we pretty much agree. Neither of us want to lose today, neither do our boys, but we'll both be cheering for the other one's son tomorrow, no matter which game they're in.
A couple of ladies that have an exciting afternoon ahead, and we will be back to watch those highlights without a doubt. First, though, Larry and Gary are standing by upstairs.
Hey, we can't wait for this one to get underway, and it should be a good one. We'll be back at Veterans Auditorium in just a moment.
Winning, losing, how you play the game. That's what good sportsmanship and life are all about. Hello, I'm John Nelson, Chairman and CEO of Norwest Bank, Iowa. Each year, Norwest awards 6 $1,000 scholarships to Iowa high schools for the sportsmanship displayed by their teams and students at the Boys and Girls State High School basketball tournament. It's Norwest's way of saying congratulations and of showing today's students and tomorrow's leaders that we appreciate their best.
What makes you an individual is more than just what you do and how you do it. It's where you've been, where you want to go. It's your beliefs, fears, and needs. Which is why your Farm Bureau agent cares enough to get to know you, so your insurance and financial plans meet your needs today and change with you to meet them tomorrow. The Farm Bureau family. Our most important policy is caring.
Ames 19-3, North 21-2. They split the regular season series in Ames on January the 8th. The Little Cyclones won 75-65. At North on February the 18th, the Polar Bears won 82-78. And Gary, when we talk about the matchup, I guess we just have to talk about, we met their mothers, those two key players. First of all, for the Little Cyclones, Fred Hoiberg, how does he impress you?
Well, these guys really mirror each other in a lot of ways. You're looking at Fred. He was a quarterback on the football team. He's the leader of this club in scoring 29 points a game. He can do it inside or outside. He had 33 points, which is top in the 3A scoring the other night. Didn't shoot a ball, I don't think, beyond 8 feet. Was able to penetrate and get it inside. Holds all of the scoring records at Ames High School practically now, and had a 51-point ball game during the tournaments.
Against North this year, Hoiberg in the first game, a season low 14, and then came back with 31 in the second game.
Yeah, the key might be that first game when Ames was able to win by 10 with Hoiberg only getting 14. You'd look at that, if you're an Ames fan, in a very positive situation.
Ames coached by Wayne Clinton, and his basketball teams have reached the sub-state the last 3 years. This year they were able to take the next step. Now for North, Pearl Beecham, and a lot of college recruiters probably didn't get aware of him until late, and maybe they've made a mistake.
Well, that's right. Pearl Beecham, a tremendous talent player, a dominant player inside, 6'5", 215, could shoot the three-point shot. He's also a quarterback on North's football team, had a 59-point effort. So these kids just mirror each other. Beecham has had the advantage, or had the winning advantage in total points scored in the two contests between the two. Fred Hoiberg, on the other hand, is the Gatorade Player of the Year in Iowa in both basketball and football.
That is amazing. You look at Beecham against Ames this year, 31 the first time out when Ames won by 10, and then 40 points and 13 rebounds the next time out when North won by 4.
Well, he's just a tremendous talented guy, and you try and do things that what you can do with both these kids could do. They can go inside or they can go outside. Now, Hoiberg the other night, they're shutting him off outside, so he goes inside. Beecham probably starts inside, shut him off, he goes outside, and they have the ability to hit those threes. And I think in that one game, he had 9 3-point goals when he had the 59 points against Lincoln in the district final. So two talented young men.
So Johnny Orr's got one. The report is he liked the other. It should be a great matchup. But aside from Hoiberg and aside from Beecham, then how do you assess the personnel?
Well, yes, I go back there again from Ames' standpoint when Hoiberg only gets 14 points and they win by 10 at home. The other night, Seth Anderson stepped forward, had his career high in 20 points. And for off the bench, and he's playing this kind of game because he's a penetrator and a driver. And for North, you got Andre Allen, who got off to a good start the other night, and I think he has to step out there and give him some good offense for North High.
We're working with Tim Seaman today from KCAU in Sioux City. Tim, everybody's had their opinion on how this game lines up. Ames and North looks to be a close one. What do you think?
I tell you what, Larry, being from the western part of the state, I'm almost sliding back 10 or 15 rows and going to sit back and watch this game. I haven't been able to see either of these teams play, and until coming into Des Moines, really didn't get to know much about any of the individuals, so I'm as excited about it as the fans from Ames or Des Moines North. I know both teams down here on the floor in the fourth quarter of that last 3A semifinal, they were jammed in the hallway, spewing out through the gates, and they've been anxious for this one. Rick Wolko told me a little while ago they expect 12, maybe a little more than 12,000 people here for the attendance on the afternoon, and the second game has much to do with those big numbers. I think it's going to be a great one, and if I'm not here at halftime, you'll know I'm up in the 20th row somewhere.
Well, no, Tim, no. You can't do that. We need you too much down there to let us know what's going on down there on the floor. I think that in this ballgame, Tim, you're certainly going to hear loud and enthusiastic crowds because obviously everybody's so close and both teams are well supported by their fans.
I think that's exactly the case. The other thing that Gary hit on just a second ago that I think is important, and when you get to a semifinal of a championship tournament, I guess you expect everybody to come out and play, but it's going to take more than just two great stars. This will be two very good teams on the court.
And we'll be back with the starting lineups after this word from your local station.
You know, for years, old Buck's been the best weed killer in the county. Go get him, Buck. Best little weeding dog around. But now we get even better results with Bucktrol. Good broadleaf control, excellent crop safety, and a wide window of application. So what's Buck doing now that Bucktrol's the best weed killer around? He's still got chores.
When it comes to controlling broadleaf weeds in corn, nothing measures up to Bucktrill.
On the Fox 17 Iowa Watch, Housing Help. The city of Clarion is receiving more than $416,000 from the state for housing rehabilitation. That's good news for Clarion and for Iowa.
This Iowa Watch brought to you by Cool Billy and your local Comfort Maker heating and cooling dealer.
Billy is the coolest guy I know. He drives a real cool car. His home has cool Comfort Maker air conditioning. Even when Billy is working, he can always take a cookie break and cool off in his cool air-conditioned house. Billy's mom and dad say their high-efficient Comfort Maker air conditioner saves them money. And when Billy grows up, he'll really say that's cool.
Billy says ask your participating dealer about spring rebates or no payment, no interest plans.
Hi, I'm John Brown, Brown Motor Company, Perry, Iowa. When you make the drive to Perry to buy your next car, you'll leave saying, what a deal!
Gary, as we take a look at the road to state for the Ames Little Cyclones, I guess it's fair to say the Little Cyclones breezed into the state tournament.
Well, they certainly did. I think they had a pretty easy road as you look at the scores right there. And even in the first round of the state against Davenport West, they completely dominated that game. And I go back to sometimes I think you like maybe a tight one in there where you win, but you're in that situation where you got to play under a lot of pressure. So Ames has just dominated. They haven't been in that position.
Well, the Polar Bears had a tight one, which you think is good preparation. Look at their sub-state game against Valley.
Yeah, that really makes you appreciate getting to the state tournament. You go against a conference rival there at West Des Moines Valley, you come out with a 5-point win, and it was a slow-down game, which shows me that Des Moines North is able to play at a slower pace and still win.
A quick look at these statistical matchups will indicate that both teams really average in the same range, give up about the same.
Yeah, the teams mirror themselves much like the two stars, Hoiberg and Beecham.
Well, time to get it started. Let's go downstairs to the public address announcer, Don Euchre.
It's time for basketball. The visitors on the scoreboard, the Little Cyclones from Ames. The home team on the scoreboard are the Polar Bears from Des Moines North. Now let's meet the reserves for the Little Cyclones from Ames. Number 21, Tim Legg. Number 31, Bona Luth. Number 33, Alex Garn. Number 53, Pete Fretz. Number 11, Bryce Freeman. Number 15, Ryan Carver. Number 35, Brian Coffey. Number 43, Mark Milliman. Number 51, Kevin Waller. And number 55, Eric Warmy. The assistant coaches for Ames are Bud Legg, John Waltz, and Vance Downs. And now the reserves and assistant coaches for Des Moines North. Number 11, Freddie Claytor. Number 41, Jason Dyke. Number 42, Troy Tronson. Number 12, Mike Pacina. Number 14, Mark DePhillips. Number 30, Corey Wilder. Number 32, John Moorhead. Number 35, Leon Perez. Number 51, Segator Teller. Number 55, Eric Simon. And the assistant coaches, Lauren Shaleen, Richard Hutchinson, and Mel Green Jr. And now, here are your starting lineups. For the Little Cyclones from Ames, at forward, wearing number 23, a 6'5" senior, Nathan Cook. At forward for Des Moines North, wearing number 34, a 6'2" senior, Denzel Singleton. At forward for Ames, wearing number 41, a 6'4" senior, Fred Hoiberg. At forward for Des Moines North, wearing number 43, a 6'3" senior, Andre Allen. At center for the Ames Little Cyclones, wearing number 45, a 6'8" senior, Rob Kane. At center for Des Moines North, wearing number 53, a 6'5" senior, Earl Beecham. At guard for Ames, wearing number 25, a 6'1" junior, Seth Anderson. At guard for the Polar Bears, wearing number 21, a 5'9" junior, Kyron Pink. At guard for Ames, wearing number 13, a 5'11" senior, Mike Bergen. And at guard for the Polar Bears, wearing number 23, a 6'1" senior, Chris Patton. The head coach for Ames is Wayne Clinton. Head coach for Des Moines North, Mel Green Sr. And now, Here are your officials. The referee is Gary Christensen of Mason City. The umpire, Craig Snyder of Osage. And the bench official is Richard Kohlbeck of Cedar Rapids.
Gary, I think you saw in the hunt between Clinton and Green, they've been battling each other for more than a decade. Not only are they opponents, they're very good friends.
Well, I think this goes down through the whole thing. We have mothers, we have competitors, and we have coaches. They're all friends off the court. Once it comes on the court, they'll play hard against each other, let the chips fall where they may, and then when the game's over, they all go back to being friends again.
No, for that reason, I wouldn't expect that because it's a 3A semifinals, there'd be a lot of tightness. These are old friends playing each other, and I think maybe the game's the thing.
That's right. They played with each other, and they played against each other.
And so Ames against North. Pearl Beecham, 6'5". Jumping against Nathan Cook at 6'5", and it's Ames with Hoiberg on the first shot of the game.
Cook, a good jumper. Right there, you notice on the center jump, got up and got the tip.
One thing to keep in mind about Ames, Wayne Clinton, their coach, says they have started the last 6 games especially well. For example, in the quarterfinals, a 25-8 lead after a period. Patton misfires, and now Ames has Anderson all alone.
Well, North with nobody back on defense, and I noticed the other night that Seth Anderson will release early and try and get down court and get some cheap baskets.
Got one there. Inside, it is Singleton. And coming down with the rebound, Mike Bergen. Bergen only 5'11". His dad's the track coach at Iowa State, Bill Bergen.
He may be underestimated in his abilities right here. He's a good defensive player. He leads the club in assists and also can shoot the shot when it's called upon. He doesn't go looking for the shot, but he can hit it outside if left alone.
Ames being patient on their second possession of the game. 1 minute has been played. They lead 2-0, and the ball is batted out of bounds by Chris Patton.
Well, Ames got a break right there. I don't know where that pass was, or who it was intended for.
Mel Green, on the right of your screen, his son, Mel Green Jr., and he's coached with his dad the last several years. On the baseline, Kane is open.
That's usually a plus. One of the keys in the ball games for Ames, taking away Hoiberg, is Kane. If he's rebounding, and there's the steal and a layup by Hoiberg. If Kane's rebounding and getting some scoring out of it.
North not likely to panic. They were behind in the quarterfinals against Cedar Rapids Kennedy 9-2, and then exploded with the foul. Seth Anderson, it's the game's first foul. 6-0, Ames with the lead. 6:34 to go first quarter.
Let's watch it. Here's the trap. They're coming in, and Hoiberg with a little flip away, knocks it down, able to recover it, and he's right there to lay it up for 2.
Beecham puts it to the floor. Number 21 is Kyron Pigs. Underneath on the rebound, Singleton, and now ripping the ball down is Kane. Ahead, it is Anderson. And Nathan Cook is there to put it through. It is an 8-0 lead for the Little Cyclones.
There's the steal off the pressure again by Ames. Beautiful pass by Anderson inside. And not coming away with it is Mike Bergen.
He couldn't finish it, but he did get it back for his basketball team. The 3 by Hoiberg. And the rebound is cleared underneath by Tanzel Singleton.
He's a tremendous guy on the boards. Great leaping ability, and he just pounds that glass.
And that time, a bit out of control, is Chris Patton. And so, with Ames up 8-0, they've got the ball. And Wayne Clinton indicates the kind of an offense he wants his team to play, while Mel Green tries to get his club to settle down.
That's right. That's exactly what they have to do. They've made it a couple turnovers. They've given up the long pass for an easy basket. So they have to get back to playing solid basketball.
Inside, it is Kane over Singleton. And Bergen quickly gets it to Hoiberg. On the foul, Chris Patton. First foul on North. Ames has also been called for 1 foul.
This is a good flip pass in here by Bergen to Hoiberg, and then he gets hacked across the arm and goes to the line for 2. You notice right there, Bergen probably could have put that shot up. But knowing he's got the superstar Hoiberg over there, he elects to go over there, and he ends up with Hoiberg on the line for 2.
Hoiberg, first team all-conference in the Metro the last 2 years, no doubt will be 3 years in a row. It is a 9-0 lead for the Little Cyclones. Beecham on the rebound. He averages a team-leading 10.2 rebounds a game. Andre Allen, who got North started when they fell behind on Wednesday night, gets them started here, 9-2 in favor of Ames.
And I think he has to play a good supporting role in this game for the Polar Bears. Back up, Earl Beecham.
The bomb from just inside the three-point line by Anderson.
He has really come on strong at the end of the year. Had his career high the other night, 20 points, and then has been in double figures the last 3 games.
Andre Allen losing it, so 4:47 to go in the game's first quarter, an 11-2 lead for the Little Cyclones.
4 quick turnovers by the Polar Bears have him in trouble, 11-2.
Here's Hoiberg getting fouled by Patton. Chris Patton with his second personal foul.
Right now, as you observe this game, Ames is the quicker team by far in all phases of the game. They have really come out pumped up as you look at Wayne Clinton, Bud Legg on the left right there, his assistant.
And with those 2 fouls, Patton will lead the lineup. Freddie Clater, a 5'6" junior. Another of the extremely quick guards for the North High Polar Bears comes in. He's averaging 2.8. Hoiberg is 73% foul shot shooter. What an outstanding career he's had in many sports at Ames High. He has 5. It's a 13-2 lead for Ames. One thing about North, and we saw it the other night in the quarterfinals, they can score points in bunches.
Well, they can. And North, they had 2 guys on the same side. I think somebody lost their position on the floor. They would have had a 3-on-2.
Singleton has it slapped away by Bergen, and Mike Bergen has played a good floor game so far.
Well, he's a quality player, like you said, a good defensive player, and there you see the turnovers we talked about earlier, 4, and the difference in that, 6 of the 13 points coming off the turnovers.
Allen can't get it to go down. Kane scratching for the rebound. Cook can't buy the pull-up, but Ames will have another chance. Knocked out of bounds by Andre Allen.
You know, I think back to many games that start like this. When you're playing good clubs, a lot of times the team will get out real strong early and then think it's going to be easy. And with a club like North, it's not going to be an easy game, I don't think. They have the ability, as you said, to explode and come back, and they play in spurts. It's pretty much what both these teams do, off-balance shot.
And Kane comes up with a loose ball. Hoiberg had it for a moment. Kane got the roll. He put it through. It's a 15-2 lead for Ames. Travel will give it right back to the Little Cyclones, who could not be off to a better start.
Sometimes you say with teams that if you're a pressing team, you don't handle the pressure very well. Right now, that's what's happening to North. They played with a lot of pressure. They played each other. They won and lost to Ames with the same kind of game. So it's not that case, but that's what coaches talk about many times. This is one of the key players we talked about, Kane, and so far he's been on the boards.
Bergen for 3.
This is what I said. He doesn't hunt the shot, but he'll take it when it's there. He's 45% from the three-point line.
And Mel Green needs the timeout. His Polar Bears fall behind 18-2. We'll be back at Veterans Auditorium in just a moment.
Yeah, some kind of new pig starter. Hubbard says it's supposed to be good for you. Did you try it? I'm not going to try it. You try it. I'm not going to try it. Hey, let's give it to Mikey. He won't eat it. He hates everything. Hey, Mikey! He likes it!
Hubbard's complete pig starters and free starters. Balanced nutrition for pigs from birth to 50 pounds. See your Hubbard dealer today.
The corn is high and healthy here, and things are as they should be. Here, there's no velvet leaf, no cocklebur, no Canada thistle, and there will be no carryover, because this farmer has changed from atrazine to Banvel. Banvel, with no carryover. That's a change for the better. From atrazine to Banvel, the changing of the guard.
With Gary Thompson, this is Larry Morgan back at Veterans Auditorium in Des Moines. An incredible start by Ames.
Chantel Singleton. And the Polar Bears right now, in my estimation, not firing on all cylinders. They're shook after this early run by Ames, leading them 18-2.
One change at the timeout for Ames. Tim Legg, number 21, is coming to the guard spot. A tie ball, and this will give it to North. Well, there's the story. Look at that shooting percentage by Ames to get started.
Well, Hurl beats him. Hoiberg has 5 points. Hurl doesn't have any. But in fairness, Hurl has not even touched the basketball at the offensive end, I don't think.
Singleton on the drive for the Polar Bears. It's 18-4.
Well, Hoiberg with good hands right there to save a possible interception.
Anderson on the drive, and Anderson has got 6. And already every starter has scored for the Little Cyclones.
Well, Seth Anderson, as I said, has really come on. And when he's in the open court, a penetrator one-on-one, he is really tough.
Bill Green and his longtime assistant, Lauren Shalene, off to his left.
I didn't realize that Shalene was there. He's a friend from back in my hometown area.
He's been with Green a long time. Number 31, Bono Luth, into the lineup for the Little Cyclones, and he is a native of the Sudan.
Well, and a cousin, isn't he, a relative of Manute Bol?
Yes, he is.
Watch for Bono Luth. He's a three-point shooter.
Singleton with the bucket, 20-6, and with the steal, Tyron Pinks. Again, North has the ability to come back and score lots of points in a hurry, so no lead for Ames is too safe. Singleton again.
Well, he is tough under there. You have to put a body under him, or on him, rather, to keep him off those boards. That's his strength, his play around there. If he has to shoot outside, he's not going to be near as effective. Now the Polar Bears getting into this game. They made some shots and able to set their defense.
Bono Luth travels. The ball goes back to the Polar Bears. A moment ago, it was 18-2, and since then, North has a modest run underway, and they have outscored Ames by a margin of 6-2.
Well, what happened, you have 2 starters out of there, and I think Wayne Clinton thought with the big lead he got a chance to rest some people coming here. All of a sudden, North answers with 6 quick points, and he has to come back in with the 2 starters.
Nathan Cook is back in, and Mike Bergen is back in. On the misfire by Singleton, it is Cook who brings it ahead, and he is fouled from behind. Going for the steal for North, Tyron Pinks, and that is his first foul. The Polar Bears have been assessed with 3.
Comes Cook, and Pinks trying to sneak up from behind, reaches across, gets him across the arm.
Luth inbound. He's only a junior, his second year in the Ames High program. Here's Hoiberg for 3. And his buddy Beecham has the rebound.
Look at this. 3 on none.
Singleton had 8 of the 10 points for the Polar Bears.
Beecham showed you why he's a quarterback. I mean to tell you, that ball was on a clothesline.
And so after trailing by 16, North back to within 10, and Hoiberg loses to Beecham. Allen back to Beecham.
And the Polar Bears turning it around, and Wayne Clinton is going to get a good timeout as they make the run.
We talked about their ability to score points in bunches. That's what they're doing. There's a timeout on the floor. Now here's a word from your local station.
On the Fox 17 Iowa Watch, ready for rain. Gowrie has received a $300,000 grant for storm sewer improvements. That's good news for Gowrie and for Iowa.
A recent survey of the Des Moines area showed more people purchase furniture from homemakers than any other store. It must be homemakers' low prices, the quality guarantee, and the customer service. Homemakers' business has tripled in the last 3 years. Join the thousands of furniture shoppers who have switched to homemakers. Come see what your neighbors already know. Quality guaranteed, customer service, and the lowest prices. Homemakers West and Homemakers Furniture Outlet.
Hi, I'm John Brown, Brown Motor Company, Perry, Iowa. When you make the drive to Perry to buy your next car, you'll leave saying, what a deal!
Final minute of the first quarter, Ames leads North by 8. Cutting it to 8 was this basket by Beecham.
So Beecham coming over here. Good flip pass back to the middle, and Beecham, who makes the steal, finishes it off on the other end.
With 3:26 to go in the quarter, North trailed 18-2. Mel Green called a timeout, and then his team scored 10 of the next 12 points in the game, so then Ames took the timeout.
Kane doing the smart thing for a big guy right there, dribbling once and picking it up.
that timeout? Was it so much the North really changed anything, or did they just get some poise at that
Well,
timeout?
they got some buckets on this end where they could then set their pressure. And also Ames substituted. You get a little different rhythm in there in the ball game right there with 2 substitutes in.
Seth Anderson tries to get it back to the middle. And the foul is called on Anderson on the charge, and that will be his second foul.
Anderson on the drive, North with good defense. Look at the man sitting there, planted right on him, and when he hit, he was not able to jump to the inside and avoid the charge.
What a comeback by North. Now, the last time we looked at that stat, Ames didn't have any turnovers.
That's right.
Hoiberg mishandles, or rather gets the steal and fires as Beecham mishandled, and coming out with it, Kyron Pinks.
They got a man open.
He finds him, Singleton.
And when they're breaking the press, they got a mismatch of people on the other end.
North has outscored Ames 12-2. As Anderson can't buy it, and King can't finish it. Now Hoiberg will try, and he'll have to do it at the free throw line. Tanzel Singleton's first foul. North's fourth.
Mel Green's in over there. Now you look at Wayne Clinton, but Mel Green has to really feel good after being down 18-2, and now he's brought it back to 20-14 with 10 seconds left here in the quarter.
Almost a replay of the North victory over Cedar Rapids Kennedy. True, they didn't fall down by as far, but same thing. Bad start, bad start. 6 now for Hoiberg. A 7-point lead for his basketball team from Ames.
That's a wobbler, but it went.
22-14 Ames. 7 seconds to go in the quarter. Patton gets the roll. And the first quarter, as expected, full of action. Ames has the lead. They led by as many as 16. Now they lead by 6. That's the end of the first quarter. With the score, Ames 22, North 16. We'll be back after this word from your local station.
You know, I can't imagine getting up in the morning, continuing to do what you do, if you hate what you're doing. I am doing exactly what I want to do. I don't have any desire to do anything else in the world. You just have the smell of spring in the air. It's time to go to farming the soil, and it's in your blood. Maybe that's the best thing. It's in your blood.
Proudly salutes the spirit of competition displayed throughout the 1991 Iowa Boys State High School Basketball Tournament. We have all proudly come to expect the best.
Welcome back to Vets Auditorium. I'm Tim Sheeman. Ames leading 22-16 after 1. Let's go back upstairs and see if the North spurt continues, or will Ames come back with a second spurt of their own. Both these teams can do it, fellas.
No question about that, Tim. So far, Hoiberg with 7 points, Beecham with only 2, but really hasn't had shots, Gary.
No, he hasn't touched the ball. Ames was stealing on the press and laying it in, and they couldn't get it in the offensive end over the first 4 or 5 minutes.
Rob Kane takes it inside Hurl Beecham to get his third bucket. And it's a 24-16 lead for the Little Cyclones.
Ames comes with a 1-2-1-1. Let's see, they drop in. There actually looks like a 1-3 zone in there.
Well, whatever it is, it worked. Whatever it is, it worked. Took out of the corner, but Hoiberg is there to put it back.
Well, that's what he can do. He can hurt you outside. He goes to the board hard inside. We mentioned he and Beecham are much alike in what they do for their team.
Patton having trouble with the Ames defense, though the Little Cyclones get it with a 10-point lead. Let's take another look.
Coming down the side, tries to go through there, loose possession. Looked up right there and took his eyes off the ball.
Back to live action. Nathan Cook scores and is fouled. The basket will count. As they started the game, Ames starts the second quarter red hot. They have scored the first 6 points and could make it 7.
Well, we said both these clubs play in spurts. That's the type of teams they are when you're playing full court pressure and running the floor. That's going to happen.
Beecham with the foul, his first, North fifth. But again, the new experimental rule in Iowa this year, you no longer go into the bonus until the 7th, and it's no longer 1-1, it's an automatic 2. With the steal, Nathan Cook.
Beautiful pass.
And Anderson has 8.
Mike Bergen really makes good choices, I think, on passing and hitting the open man. And there's another one again. And we've seen a turnaround again. It's Ames, and then North, and then Ames.
Unbelievable starts to both quarters for Ames with the foul. Mike Bergen. So Ames comes out and scores the first 11 points in the second quarter. Here's the last jam.
Well, maybe everybody knew what they were talking about. This game has electricity to it. I'll tell you, the first game was a great game, but this game has added something beyond even the first one.
Patton finds Beecham in the middle, and Beecham will have a chance at a three-point play. Rob Kane on the foul.
Raise your hand for me. Raise your hand for me.
North really never got Beecham involved in the offense in the first quarter, but obviously they want to do it now.
Well, you see Kane sliding in there, and Beecham with good concentration gets it down, gives a little pump of the fist, and now we'll see if the Polar Bears can come back and make another run of their own.
You look up at the clock here, you realize 6:18 to go in the second quarter. Ames came up with those 11 points in less than a minute 45. Singleton on the offensive rebound.
Boy, I thought Singleton got hacked. I mean, he went up and they pulled him down.
And now the swap of turnovers, and the Polar Bears will get another crack at it, trailing 33-18.
Actually, on that pass, I thought Bergen was leading. The guy Kane kind of stopped on him and didn't continue up court.
Patton cranks the three, and the long rebound comes to Hoiberg. Nice drive.
Yes, and a nice job avoiding the charge. He veered out so he could avoid it. Oh, that's a chancy pass by Beecham, and it gets picked off.
Hoiberg with 13. Now here comes North.
2-on-1.
Patton and gets Bergen.
Boy, these teams can hit you so fast. It's a tough game to broadcast, isn't it, and keep score?
It really is. I think we just ought to sit back and watch, Gary. Kane looking for Anderson. And it belongs to North. I tell you what's even tougher than working this game, trying to count the turnovers.
Well, we'll rely on Ted Tedesco for that. I don't know if he can even keep up.
I've never seen his hand move with such a blur.
Speaking of turnovers, Ames has 8 and North has 11.
Hoiberg for 3.
Good. Boy, it's explosive teams.
16 for Hoiberg already, 38-20. Ames storms to the lead, and we'll be back at Veterans Auditorium in just a moment.
We want to leave the land like we found it. It's good, if not better. So we're worried about the environment, too. You know, we want to keep the water good and soil in nice shape. We want to try to cut down on erosion and things like that.
I've always heard this expression, you own land. Well, the good Lord has just made us a caretaker of that land while we're here. That's all it is. You don't really own it.
Proudly salutes the spirit of competition displayed throughout the 1991 Iowa Boys State High School Basketball Tournament. We have all proudly come to expect the best.
Time now to look at our Norwest key stat, with Ames leading North by a score of 38-20 at 5:18 in the second quarter.
Well, you see rebounding, but turnovers are the big thing. But both clubs have turned their offense off the defense, and then the shooting. Look at here, Ames 60%, North just about 41%, but Ames is shooting a lot of layups on this end.
Hoiberg's on fire for Ames. He has 16 points, 9 in this quarter in less than 3 minutes of the quarter. Here's Beecham for 3.
Boy, that takes courage to respond when you're down and things are going bad. You have a tendency to want to hurry things. He took his time and drilled it.
At the other end, it is Seth Anderson. and 10 already.
And the support players for Ames have been doing an excellent job. We have Cook and Kane, Seth Anderson. Bergen stepped in there with a three-pointer and good floor leadership.
And North really has not been able to get their offense on track. Here's Pinks gunning a three. And this will belong to Ames. Little Cyclones 17-point lead, which equals their biggest, and they have the ball.
I think they're going to have some patience, North, when you get down that half-court offense. Try and get the ball and let Hurl Beecham touch it at least once every possession if it isn't on a break situation.
Open is Anderson.
Boy,
he's open, he's deadly.
He got that ball off quick, too, because he had a defender flying at him.
At the other end, it's Singleton.
Boy, they strike you quick. You can't relax. You have to cover up.
Luth inside, and on the rebound is Chris Patton.
You gamble and lose sometimes, and that's what happens to Kane. And Singleton's on fire. He's taking everything to the hole.
Do we have some athleticism on display in this game?
Two talented squads. The Metro Conference has got to be really upbeat about these two. There's the steal, the pressure.
And there's Allen.
Oh, and he lost it. I think he might have been thinking stuff again.
With a 15-point lead. They've been content to get out and run with North, and have done it very successfully. Here's Anderson.
Good job by Hoiberger going to the ball. That had been intercepted.
His first miss of the second quarter. Singleton has the rebound, and he travels. Brennan Hoiberg.
Singleton has just been something else on the boards. Average is 5.8.
I'm sure he has at least his average, if not more so. Change now for Ames, as the starting center Kane will leave, and in to take his place is Pete Fretz, a 6'8 senior.
A real serious knee injury last year. Spent the time real bad days. Not the same type of player.
And Hoiberg gets the tip.
Hoiberg get it?
He's got 18 points. We have a little over 3 minutes to go in the second quarter. Ames with a 44-27 lead. Patton leaves it short. Bergen outlets to Anderson.
Boy, nice crossover and step through by Anderson. Tough shot, leaning and going to the glass. This guy has really come on for Wayne Clinton's club.
20 in the subs, rather, 15 in the sub-state, 20 in the quarterfinal, and already 14 in the first half today. The story for Anderson as Bergen has another swipe. And now Bergen has the foul. Beecham almost had a breakaway.
What action. Beecham throws it away, comes back, steals it back, regains possession.
I've seen ping-pong games that were slower paced than this.
That's a good line. I'll tell you, I don't know how these kids are going to be able to keep up the pace.
That brings up an interesting point. Does Ames have to be successful, or can they dictate the pace and slow it down a bit?
Well, I think they're both going to go at each other just like this. I don't think you're going to see it too much of a slowdown unless it gets down to the last part of the game in the last quarter. They're playing their styles. They're doing what they do best.
Clater. Rebound by Anderson, taken away by Beecham.
Kane might have had a chance for the charge had he stood his ground, but he faked it and went down early.
Anderson leaves it short after Allen has scored the basket, and Allen gets the rebound.
Tough shot to turn down, but he was 1 on 3.
2:10 to go, second period. A bunch of points on the board already, and Beecham doesn't get the roll.
There's Kane, who said Kane had to play an up-tempo game for him. By that, I mean getting up on the boards and also maybe helping with some offense.
Kane pulls down 7 rebounds a game, as he had one there.
Ames a pretty good ball movement.
Hoiberg again. That's 21 for Fred Hoiberg. That is his second 3. 20-point lead for the Little Cyclones.
Again, I'm forcing something, and maybe it's exactly what Mel Green wants. So if they're breaking that press, they're ending up with two guys on one side of the floor, and they're negating what should be an advantage.
Gary, there are NBA teams who wouldn't score 49 points in this period of time. Right here.
I think that's Lake picking himself up, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Tim Lake with his first foul. You know, all this points, all these trips down the floor, and yet only 5 team fouls apiece.
They're just going at each other. They're shooting and stealing.
Kyron Pixt inbound for North. 90 seconds to go, second quarter.
You haven't had time to blink in this game. We only got 1:29 to go.
Hoiberg has done it all for the Cyclones in this one. He has rebounded, he has scored, he's played defense. Kane.
Good pass by Lake. Inside. He could have had the outside shot. Doesn't shoot a good percentage. He goes into where it's a high percentage shot to Kane. And North has got to get better shots on the half-court offense. They're really forcing some stuff. I go back again. I think you got a lot of time. You got to look for Beecham to get his hands on the ball.
Beecham tried to get the rebound, coming up with it. Singleton, and it's blocked by Kane. Final minute, first half. 22-point lead for the team with the ball, Ames. Cook leaves it short, rebounded by Pixt.
Well, they got the numbers again.
But they can't afford to get the numbers and not convert.
No, in this situation, down 51-29, you've got to make those if you're going to get back in the game.
Cyclones will play for the last shot. Has either coach really had time to coach?
They have done their coaching all season long, and these two teams are prepared. It's a matter of going out and do battle. And I think this is smart. Even though you're up 51-29, you don't give North a chance to hit a last three-point shot or something, get some momentum a little bit going in.
A travel is called on Hoiberg. The ball goes to North with 2 seconds to go in the first half.
Larry, I don't think you can have enough points ahead by either team in this kind of game.
I would agree. Ames has scored 51 in 2 seconds shy of 16 minutes. Now that's a pace.
31 to 13.
Straight up here. 41 straight up. Ready?
Beecham will take the last shot.
Got the rim.
From three-quarter court, not bad. Wayne Clinton couldn't be happier. His team has been blazing through the first 16 minutes. That's the end of the first half with the score. Ames 51, North 29. We'll be back at Veterans Auditorium in just a moment.
What's that? Some kind of new pig starter. Hubbard says it's supposed to be good for you. Did you try it? I'm not going to try it. You try it. I'm not going to try it. Hey, let's give it to Mikey. He won't eat it. He hates everything. Hey, Mikey! He likes it!
Hubbard's complete pig starters and free starters. Balanced nutrition for pigs from birth to 50 pounds. See your Hubbard dealer today.
The corn is high and healthy here, and things are as they should be. Here, there's no velvet leaf, no cocklebur, no Canada thistle, and there will be no carryover, because this farmer has changed from atrazine to Banvel. Banvel, with no carryover. That's a change for the better. From atrazine to Banvel, the changing of the guard.
Scored the first 8 points. Never looked back. Led 22-16 at the end of one quarter. And outscored North 29-13 in the second quarter to build a 51-29 halftime lead.
Yeah, it's been a tremendous half of basketball. Ames getting out. They've had two big spurts that have taken the game to this point. And now it's the start of the game and then the start of the second quarter. You got to compliment North High for battling and getting back in it. Down to 6 points there one time, 20-14.
And we'll be back at Veterans Memorial Auditorium in just a moment after this pause for station identification.
The 1991 Iowa Boys State Basketball Tournament is brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers. Test drive his full line of quality cars from Hyundai. Yes, Hyundai.
During Hyundai Savings Time, your Hyundai dealer is offering the biggest rebates he's had all year. With as much as $1,500 factory cash back, you can own this durable, economical Excel for as little as $55.25. Or get away in a sporty new Scoop with power steering and stereo. With a $1,000 rebate, it starts at just $79.90. It's not only fun to drive, it's easy to own. See your Hyundai dealer. It could be the smartest move you make all year. Sale ends April 3rd.
Let's go, Buck. Okay, suit yourself. Now that we're using Bucktril herbicide, old Buck doesn't even check the corn anymore because Bucktril gives us real good control of cuckleburr, velvet leaf, and other broadleaves. And with Bucktril, there's no vapor drift, so it won't burn my beans. Speaking of vapors. Oh, I can't believe this.
When it comes to controlling broadleaf weeds in corn, nothing measures up to Bucktril.
Come on, Buck, open the door, buddy. Come on. Oh, don't you lay down on me, buddy.
Things were pretty quiet around here until Hardee's brought out that California raisin family.
Buy a Raisin Oat Bran muffin or any dessert, and for 99 cents, you get yourself a purple neighbor.
Those raisins are raising a ruckus all over town. But it ain't what we call fun, is it, Martha? Martha? Martha! Oh, Martha.
California raisins. Collect all 4. Only 99 cents each. Only Hardee's.
It's the best new show on television. Whoa. Parker Lewis. Can't Lose. Sundays on Fox.
Don't feel bad.
Chip thinks his new friend Mike is so cool. Allie thinks he's
Eddie Haskell.
Kate and Allie.
Friday at 5:30 on KDSM, Fox 17.
51-29. Let's go down to our colleague from KCAU, Channel 9 in Sioux City, Tim Seaman. Tim?
Thanks very much, Larry. We're courtside with the men that will do battle a little later tonight. Earlier, you met the Class A coaches. Now the gentlemen that head up the 1A programs. Bill Miller at Irwin, Kirkland, Manila, and Paul Luce from Newell Fonda. And Bill, let's start with you, I guess. Defense has been the name of the game for your team here the last couple of outings. Played a great defensive game in that semifinal round win. You'll need a defensive effort tonight, I'm guessing, against a pretty quick and offensive team.
Yes, we know that it's going to have to be outstanding because they have a lot of good shooters. Normally we can load up on some people and let them maybe 1 or 2 go, but tonight even kids off the bench can score, so we're going to have an outstanding defensive effort against this team.
This has had to have been just as if a state tournament's not exciting, but for a club like yours, it wasn't in either of the polls at the end of the year. You kind of came in and said, we're here and we can play, and has that made it even more enjoyable?
Yes, it has, because we were in the polls earlier and we took a couple losses maybe that we shouldn't have, and like you said, we probably snuck up on some people.
Has it made it easier for you to prepare for this championship game? Are you a little bit maybe loose and just out to go after it, or how do you see your team?
We haven't been loose at all, and that's showing on offense. We haven't had our best offensive game, and we hope we have one game left where we can really show the people we can play offense too.
I think you had 22 turnovers in your semifinal.
Yes, and this is something that should beat you. We like to keep that under 10, and we hope we can do that tonight, but with this defense, we don't know. We're going to have trouble with it, I think.
All right, we'll find out later tonight, that's for sure. Now let's switch over to this side. Paul Luce from Newell Fonda is with us. And, Coach, I've told people that I describe your team a basketball team with a wrestling team's attitude. Is that true?
Well, we're very aggressive out on the floor, and that's one thing we try to do is try to keep the pressure on the ball and try to up-tempo things. And we create a lot of things out on the floor just with our aggressiveness, and that's one of our main things, try to get it up-tempo.
You had to have been pleased in your semifinal. It's not often that your team has had to come back after trailing, but they came back after a sluggish first quarter in the semifinal.
Yeah, we did. They showed some character in coming back like that. We did have to come back 11 points against Pomeroy during the season and over at their place in the double overtime loss, but our kids have always been battlers out on the floor, and that with the up-tempo and the aggressiveness, we've been able to succumb some point spreads.
Have a good afternoon here, and I suppose tonight will be even better.
Oh, I think so. Our boys are ready for tonight, I believe.
Fair enough. Thanks, Coach, for joining us. Bill, you as well. Have a good afternoon, and a better evening coming up as championships are on the way a little bit later tonight. Now let's go back upstairs.
In the first game of the day, Waterloo East advanced to tomorrow night's 3A final by beating Carroll Kemper 78-75. Rodney Wallacan 36 points in that ball game for the Trojans. So they will face the winner of this game between Ames and North, and right now it is Ames in front by a score of 51-29. Gary, as you take a look at the battle of Hoiberg and Beecham, Hoiberg has decidedly had the upper end, 21 points to 7 for Beecham.
Well, he certainly has. He's been on the front end of that press, the top man right there. He's had some interceptions there. He's been in position to get the basketball. I think that's one thing North High has to do. They have to get Beecham involved in the offense more in the second half.
Now let's take a look at the stats of that first half of action. What shooting by the Little Cyclones.
Yeah, they're getting layups, and which really, and then they shot the ball well too besides that. But when you get all the layups off the steals and everything, you see the difference in free throw percentage, 57.5 to 33.3. Actually, the rebounding, let's see, Ames, North has had a 15 rebound margin this year compared to Ames 8. Right now, Ames doing a great job on the boards.
That they are. As far as the individual scoring in the game, we mentioned the game's leading scorer is Fred Hoiberg, but how about Seth Anderson?
Well, he's a guy that's really come on. He did it the other night. He had 15 in the first half against Davenport West. Tonight he comes back with 14.
Now let's go back to Tim Seaman.
And let's take a look at some of the activities that were on the wood during that first half. A ton of highlights, I guess. The folks have been cutting through the reel. Let's take a look early on. This man is a gentleman that most people know in Central Iowa, Fred Hoiberg. And this time on the Jam, will play college ball at Iowa State. After a slow first quarter, Hoiberg had a huge second quarter. One of the men that played a great game in the first half, at least, for North. Andre Allen here with a little bit of a jam time of his own. And Hoiberg can get it from the outside as well, way behind the arc here. And that one will count up for 3 times. And at the half, it's 51-29, Ames out in front. We'll be back with the start of the second half in just a moment.
Today, we are celebrating a commitment by you, Paul, and you, Victoria, to spend the rest of your
Unlike certain other of life's commitments, John Deere will give you 30 days to back out. If within 30 days you're not completely satisfied with your John Deere mower, we'll give you your money back. Because in a matter as important as a lawnmower, you deserve to be happy.
As long as you both shall live.
See the yellow pages under lawnmower for your nearest John Deere dealer.
We survey hundreds of shoppers every week to learn more about what you like and want at Hy-Vee. And folks who regularly shop Hy-Vee tell us they save money on their overall food bill. They find low prices plus friendly service. Because that's what you want. That's what you get. All day, every day at Hy-Vee. And low prices.
At Veterans Auditorium.
The 1991 Iowa Boys State Basketball Tournament is brought to you by Norwest Bank, Iowa. Come to expect the best.
Ames 51, North 29, and Gary, first thing North has to do is start this quarter better than they started the first 2. Ames got the first 8 points of the first quarter, the first 11 of the second quarter.
Well, and I think for Wayne Clinton, there's nothing he'd have liked better if this game would just continued without a halftime. They were playing so great, things going so well, you worry about coming out now and maintaining that same intensity they had, because they were really pumped. And another thing, I think the halftime break was a good thing for North. They got to come out and establish and get Beecham and Allen involved. They've got to get better shots when they're not in their transition game, because I thought they really put up some bad shots from the perimeter.
They've been friends since the age of 14, Hoiberg and Beecham. You saw them shake hands. Some speculation the next year they may play for the same team. Hoiberg is committed to Iowa State, and of course the reports had Beecham with some interest in Iowa State, and certainly vice versa. Here's Beecham inside to get things started, and with the rebound, Rob Kane. He's really done a job on the boards in this game.
Right, all around, and I think he had 8 points in the first half, too, so he's done what he needs to do. Looks like Ames maybe with a little 1-3-1 there again, and they have Kane playing in back of Beecham and Hoiberg out in front. Let's see if that happens.
Both teams have their starting units in as the second half begins.
Looks like they're in a 1-3-1. Just watch Hoiberg. He fronts Kane.
Patton can't find the range from 3. Hoiberg has the rebound.
You know, he's got good spring in the legs. You saw how he almost from a standing didn't even bend. He just went right up and got the rebound. Johnny Orr's got himself a talented kid.
He certainly does. Kane
seems like somebody's got him pumped for this game, because he seems like he's really involved compared to the other night.
Anderson coming out with the basketball, and again, North having trouble starting a quarter now.
Well, they can't afford a big run here by Ames, or they'll be in real trouble.
With the foul, Bergen. And that becomes his third personal foul. It's the first foul called in the second half. Join us again tonight for the first two champions to be crowned in this boys state basketball tournament. Appleton against Iowa Mennonite at 6:30. It'll be followed by the men's teams who Tim interviewed at halftime. IKM against Newell Fonda.
And notice what happened. Hoiberg, when they go to the zone, if Beecham flares out, he follows right with him.
Singleton mishandling it. Bergen comes up with it. Here's Anderson. Nathan Cook. Fouled by Beecham. Beecham's second.
I think Seth Anderson wants the handle on that dribble. That's what they come down. Gets it underneath, tries to reverse it under right here, but then Beecham comes across, able to pick him up, fouls him, doesn't let him get the basket.
To the line, Nathan Cook. Cook, a 6'5" senior, scored 4 points thus far. He averages 12. And he had one of his better games in Ames' victory over North earlier this year when he scored 23. Number 42 is Troy Tronsel into the lineup for North. He'll take the place of an outstanding rebounder in Tanzel Singleton, who's North's leading scorer with 14. Cook now has 5. Make it 6.
Troy Tronson, one of the better outside shooters, so they're probably getting him in lineup for that.
55-29, Ames. Down the foul, Tim Lake. So far, the pace of the third quarter, not as frenetic as it was through the first 2 periods of play, as Wayne Clinton directs the attack. In the middle, it is down. North just not getting the rolls and the bounces, are they?
No, that's a tough shot again. Your finger rolling from about 7 feet. Ames doing a good job of containing Beecham with the defense that they're playing.
Hoiberg gets fouled. Patton draws his third.
I see they pointed down to the floor. I thought it was going to be interesting there whether it was a 2 shot, because it looked like he was going to try and go up for the shot. And with Hoiberg, you know he could take the 3-pointer.
So Ames, the first 8 points of the first quarter, the first 11 of the second quarter, and the first 4 here in the third quarter. Pinks runs out of room, and once again, Ames will have it.
You know, it seems like it's going that way for North. Whenever they make a play like that, like you said, he's out of room and goes out of bounds, so he can't take advantage of the good play and making a steal.
6'1" junior Seth Anderson inbound.
You know, for the quickness in the first half of a North team, it seemed like Ames was getting most of the loose balls. Again, they would come out really pumped up.
Hoiberg's still hot. 23 for Fred Hoiberg.
Come with a 1-2-2 press this time.
And Patton gets it down for the Polar Bears. 57-31. Ames holds the lead.
Well, North is just going to have to come down in their offense like that. They're going to have to hit they're going to have to hit like 8 out of 10 shots, I think, or something like this to get back in.
They're going to have to really turn the defense up a notch. That time they do.
They've got a 2-on-3, or 3-on-2 rather.
Pick was blocked by Kane. Anderson.
Didn't get it on the advantage that they had, but then a good individual move by Seth Anderson.
A 16-point performance for Seth Anderson, who had 20 in the quarterfinals when Ames obliterated Davenport West 86-60. His first bucket.
And North starting to do their part, what we're talking about. Now they've got to be solid on some defensive possessions. They've got to shut down Ames. Boy, you can't get back in it like that.
North can't for just to trade baskets.
No way. And that's where Hoiberg's so smart. He sees the opening. As soon as it was there, he took it right to the basket.
Kane fouls. Foul number 2 on the center for the Little Cyclones, Rob Kane.
Watch Hoiberg coming right down here and jams it through. He just picked the defense apart.
61-33. Ames with the lead. Kane will sit down, having picked up that second foul.
Well, he got off to a slow start this year, but he's really finished strong over the last 8 games.
Pete Fletz has come in to replace Rob Kane. Andre Allen, a big factor in North's quarterfinal victory, especially when North got off to a slow start.
You could almost see the frustration in his face when he took the ball for 3. He just kind of grabs it, to himself, like, I got to shoot this free throw, and we're down here by 61-33. It's got to be demoralizing the way the Ames has just come out and run right over him.
It would have to be.
But, that happens sometimes in great matchups. Sometimes you get it the close one, and many times you'll get the blowouts. We're not saying this is over by any stretch of the imagination, because North can strike fast, but Ames is really playing superior basketball.
Cook puts it to the floor, but pushes off. His first foul.
Beecham, a nice job there cutting off the baseline and drawing the foul.
4 fouls in the half now against Ames, 2 against North.
You see the action right there. Cook trying to take him, but Beecham wouldn't allow it.
Johnson finds Beecham.
A nice pass. Good read by Johnson right there. Maybe he's in there for passing as well as shooting.
Ames showing just a little bit more patience on offense in this quarter, aren't they?
Well, I think so. It slowed down the pace from what it was. But their scoring hasn't let off. 27 for Hoiberg.
63-35. Ames with the lead.
And you really have to say the advantages to Ames on the pressure. That's supposed to be North's big game right there, but it's turned around today. Ames also plays it, but they have been excellent in their pressure defense.
Hoiberg to the baseline. Fretz wants to follow, and he's fouled by Beecham, and now Beecham has his third.
You know what happens when you're having a run and having a game like this? Everybody plays well. Fretz has come off the bench. He's made some things happen. Here he gets on the offensive glass, takes it back up. He gets the foul on Beecham. It looked like a lot of ball on that particular play.
Fretz does not get the roll. He started his high school basketball career in Virginia, then his family moved to Iowa. Ames High gets a lot of transfers because of Iowa State being there. In fact, 8 of the 15 members of their squad have parents on the faculty at Iowa State. Now Kane, with those 2 fouls, will come back into the lineup, and Fretz will go out. I assume with that knee, he can't play a whole lot of minutes at a time. Is that right?
Well, I don't think so. He doesn't have the movement, particularly a game like this. This is quick. This gives a breather to Kane. The other night came off the bench, was 2 for 2. There you saw him get a rebound, so he's come in and done his role.
Allen, good pass to Beecham. 64-37 Ames. Just under 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Here's Kane. The rebound put up by Hoiberg.
Hoiberg is doing it all. Hits it outside, takes it on the drive. He follows other people's shots.
Beecham at the other end.
They've got to stop Ames. They've got to have some possessions where they haul Ames and to have any chance. You said it before, you can't trade out points to get back in.
A 27-point lead for the Little Cyclones. And once again, it belongs to Ames. Bill Green's going to make a change. Freddie Clater will come in at the point. And he will take the place of Andre Allen. Singleton started to come back for North, but first we'll have a timeout. 2:18 to go, third quarter. 66-39 Ames. There's a timeout on the floor. Now here's a word from your local station.
March is Hyundai savings time at your Hyundai dealer. And there's never been a better time to get big savings on every 91 Sonata in stock. Save on a roomy, powerful Sonata V6 with 4-speed automatic stereo and more room and power than Ford Taurus. With rebates as high as $1,500 and prices as low as $10,420. It's a big car for less than many small cars. See your Hyundai dealer. It could be the smartest move you make all year. Sale ends April 3rd.
With 2 minutes and 18 seconds left in the third quarter, Ames with a big lead over North, 66-39. The steal almost by Singleton, and he is fouled by Cook. Only the 15th foul against Ames, and again, the penalty does not occur until the 7th foul because of this experimental rule in Iowa high school basketball this year. Here's a telling statistic, although I guess all the stats would have to be weighted in favor of North, or rather of Ames with this big lead.
Well, then there's not a lot of rebounds for North to get. Ames is shooting 58% in the first half, and so that spreads the margin a little bit, too. A little misleading, maybe.
Number 30 is Corey Wilder into the lineup for the Polar Bears. Into the final 2 minutes of the period. Wilder trying to get it inside, but right there to intercept is Kane.
We talked about Kane being valuable in this game, an important cog of it for him to play up to his potential, and he's certainly done that.
Here's Hoiberg.
I'll tell you, Hoiberg loves it. He's so eager. I've never seen him in the few games that I've seen him play. He's just actually grabbing for the ball before it gets there. He is feeling it.
He's got 32 now, and Kane comes up with a steal. Boy, Kane has been there at the defensive end. You made the point a moment ago, and he proved it again.
And you know what was good about that? When he made the interception, they started people now, instead of just taking a flyer and throwing long and maybe getting it intercepted, he held it up and made the possession good.
A 30-point lead for the Little Cyclones, 69-39, 1:23 to go in the third quarter. There is Fred Hoiberg, who has 32.
Ames has really been sharp coming out here. I'm surprised that they're as sharp as they were in this third quarter after building that big lead, because it had to be almost a letdown.
Inside, Bono Luth called for the foul. That's his first. There's Wayne Clinton. He's directed his team into the sub-state 4 years in a row now. The last 3 they got beat in sub-state, and he said the other night he began to second-guess himself, had a few doubts about maybe it was something he was doing that wouldn't have let his team get over the hump as Beecham hits the 3. Finally sat back and decided his team had lost to some awfully good teams. 1 minute to go, third quarter.
Yeah, you never want to get in trouble second-guessing yourself. You do your best, and sometimes it doesn't work out. And there's some other coaches that have had some heartbreaks, too, you know, along that line. And you just keep working at it and working at it. Pretty soon it'll come.
That Wayne Clinton is done, and now his team on the verge of going to the 3A championship game. Ball the other way. Nathan Cook picks himself up off the deck.
You know, it's like in tournaments. We were talking before the game. And the thing about a tournament is you can be great, or like UNLV, one night where you don't put it together, shoot bad, and she's all gone. That's the way tournament basketball is. The starch is out of the Polar Bears. They just, you can see it in them. I don't think there's any way. We talked about catch-up and explosiveness. It's not there. Their mental frame of mind is really gone.
Yeah, I would agree totally.
Oh, what a save!
Singleton comes up with a save. Here's Beecham showing he can dribble in the open court, and he's fouled by Luke. That will be the 7th, so from now on, in every free throw situation, North will get 2. But they need a lot of them. They trail by 27 with 29 seconds to go in the third period. There's Seth Anderson. He's been the number 2 scorer for Ames in this game with 16 points.
A game like this, you can't afford a game gets stretched out. You can't afford not to watch because there's such great talented players here. You're going to see some exceptional plays in a game like this. You just sit back and enjoy it. If you're on the Ames side, you're enjoying it a lot more than if you're on the north side. But you still, as a basketball fan, you have to appreciate good plays, and both teams have made it.
Beecham now has 18. He scored 11 in this third quarter. But his teammates have only contributed 4 more to that total, a 15-point quarter for North. Hoiberg again.
I told you, he feels it and wants it.
35 through 3. When you're hot, you're hot. Final seconds of the third quarter. Good pass by Pinks and a chance for the three-point play for Andre Allen. With the foul, Nathan Cook.
Kyron Pinks, a nice play right there. Started the last 10 games for the Polar Bears. Seeing good penetration, good feed inside. And Andre Allen up for the 2 and a chance to make it 3.
Alex Garn comes into the little Cyclone lineup. And Cook will go out with that third foul. Allen, honorable mention all-conference linebacker in football. Misfiring on the free throw. That's knocked out of bounds by the Polar Bears. Although I don't think Ames knows it. If Hoiberg hit that, it would not have surprised me. He's been that hot. But not this time. 3 quarters are over. That's the end of the third quarter with a score. Ames 72, North 46. We'll be back at Veterans Auditorium in just a moment.
Winning, losing, how you play the game. That's what good sportsmanship and life are all about. Hello, I'm John Nelson, Chairman and CEO of Norwest Bank, Iowa. Each year, Norwest awards 6 $1,000 scholarships to Iowa high schools for the sportsmanship displayed by their teams and students at the Boys and Girls State High School Basketball Tournament. It's Norwest's way of saying congratulations and of showing today's students and tomorrow's leaders that we appreciate their best.
I will do everything in my power to preserve the land and the water around and the streams and everything. I have to. If I don't, I'll lose my livelihood. That's what makes my living. I have to take care of it. Especially if you're planning on passing it down to your kids. If you destroy your environment now, there will be nothing for your kids. It's just common sense to take care of what's around you, as far as I'm concerned. It's always been like a second nature. You do what it takes to conserve, to save what's here.
Welcome back to Vets Auditorium, 72-46. If Des Moines North is going to come back, fellas, it'll have to be from the three-point line. Troy Tronson and Earl Beecham, the 2 guys that can hit it from outside the arc. But I agree right now, the fans are the only ones that have much emotion as far as the north side of this game. Back upstairs.
After a period, Ames led by 6. After a half, they led by 22. Now they lead by 26 as the fourth quarter begins. The turnovers, pretty even, but the points off the turnovers are not.
Good execution again. Hoiberg coming to the ball right down the middle.
37 now for Hoiberg.
Boy, Tanzel Singleton, he's been the recipient of a lot of passes in there, and he just goes in there, takes the pass, and sticks it in.
Didn't play much in the third quarter, did not score in the third quarter. That is the 16th point of the game. So time now very much the enemy of the Polar Bears.
Beautiful pass.
Oh, what a pass indeed. Seth Anderson on the receiving end.
That's a nice job by Anderson of playing without the basketball. You keep yourself moving. His defensive man turned his head. He made the cut for the basket and got to it.
And again, Ames taking just a little more time now to run their offense, and why not? They have a 28-point cushion, 6:55 to go. Bergen has a shot at the bucket, and Pinks fouls it.
Good recognition there by Mike Bergen. He saw the alley. It was open as they got the defense pulled out away from the basket, and he took advantage of what the defense gave him.
Well, Mel Green has piloted North to the state tournament for the first time in 20 years since 1971. But as far as taking that last step, looks like this will not be his day.
He's done a tremendous job bringing that program back. They've been at North since 1982. Former assistant at Drake here with Bob Ornigal. Had some great success the last few years.
Bergen with his first two, and it's 78-48. The lead grows to 30.
Well, Ames won championships in 36, 45, 55, 73, and 76. It looks like they're going to get another shot at it.
This is their 17th state tournament, and only 2 teams have been here more. Davenport Central and Marshalltown. Kane with at least his 3rd block.
Boy, everything goes right. Great tip pass.
39 for Hoiberg. Beecham with his 4th foul. Pretty obvious the frustration is there.
And he just says, I'm going to run over you. Take my chances. Right here is Kyron Pinks. Comes out of here, gets the ball blocked. Watch here now. The tip right away from the defender by Cook. Hoiberg right there. Ames still hustling and active. Like I said, they've come away with most of the loose balls in this contest today.
Anderson against Beecham.
Got a man open down. Well, they didn't see him. There's Pinks.
And so Patton, he's probably the best three-point shooter for North. Again, Kane picks it off. Here's Anderson trying to finish it. 20 for Seth Anderson.
Can't say enough for Kane. The big guy has really done the job that he needs to do for these Ames little Cyclones.
5:45 to go, 82-48. The expectation of a classic matchup. It has been a classic performance by Ames.
Well, it certainly has. So many times that'll happen when you get 2 great teams going against each other like this. The game will just get spread out.
Garn replaces Cook. 5:35 left to score. Ames 82, North 48. We'll be back at Veterans Auditorium in just a moment.
We're employee-owned, so keeping prices low is everyone's job at Hy-Vee. We're dedicated to working harder and smarter to keep our expenses down and prices low. Our employees pay attention to details, which allows us to sell for less. That's why you'll save on your food bill all day, every day at Hy-Vee.
Where there's a helpful smile
And low prices.
in every aisle.
Today, we are celebrating a commitment by you, Paul, and you, Victoria, to spend the rest of your
Unlike certain other of life's commitments, John Deere will give you 30 days to back out. If within 30 days you're not completely satisfied with your John Deere mower, we'll give you your money back. Because in a matter as important as a lawnmower, you deserve to be happy.
as long as you both shall live.
See the yellow pages under lawnmower for your nearest John Deere dealer.
With Gary Thompson, this is Larry Morgan at Veterans Auditorium. There's the story. 5:35 left, and it has been all Ames. Norwest presents key stats of the game. Key stats, I guess, as you look at that total, 2 of them, shooting and rebounding.
Yeah, that's the shooting is just spread apart, and that's what happens. We said you get 2 classic teams going against each other. You expect a close game, but one shooting on one end of the spectrum and the other on the low end, and the game gets spread out like this. Plus the terrific play of Ames High. They've really come out and pumped.
It is Anderson. Everything's going right for the little Cyclones today.
They're just executing almost to perfection.
Here's Beecham. Basket will count, and Beecham a chance at a 3-point play. For Bergen. and it's his 4th foul.
And that last basket by Seth Anderson gives him 22 points, moves him to his career high. So he's had career high nights 2 games in a row. You see it going up. Beecham, good concentration, gets it up off the glass, picks up the foul. Gets a chance now to make the 3-point play.
There's Singleton back in the lineup for North as Beecham completes the 3-point play.
Well, I've been in this position before as a player on the receiving end of a game like this, and what you're thinking now is run, clock, run. Get this thing over with.
And I suppose as Hoiberg posts up and scores again and now gives him 42. By the way, it's career high 51 against Indianola in the sub-state. But I suppose if you're North, you almost have to say to yourself, I'm not sure that anything we could have done on this day would have been good enough to beat Ames.
No, they just came out. They were an explosive team. Shot it. They put the pressure on North, caused them the turnovers, and took the game away right from the start.
Misses. Hoiberg rebounds. Now, coaches being born warriors, Gary, is Wayne Clinton going to worry tonight? Is he going to say, how can we ever match this kind of an effort? You mentioned almost a flawless game. Is he going to think, how can we match this tomorrow night?
Sure, he's going to worry about it. All coaches, no matter how well you play, you worry about coming back and playing the next game. And one of the things will be, everybody's built this game up emotionally to the state championship game. That's one of the big things I think that Ames is going to have to overcome now, is to say, this is not the championship game. There's one big one ahead. And now it's to be able to lift yourself up and get back to that same intensity level that they've had in this ball game. And I'm sure East Waterloo and Coach McGraw sitting there thinking, we got this team. Either one who wins is right in our hip pocket is where we'd like them psychologically.
Beecham takes it to the hole, gets fouled, and will go to the line with the foul on Alex Garn. 23 for that man, Hurl Beecham. Beecham, by the way, with a 59-point performance against Lincoln in the district tournament. To the bench, Seth Anderson on a career-best 22-point performance. Rob Kane also goes out. So Wayne Clinton slowly but surely beginning to pull the starters.
Well, there hasn't been any quit in Hurl Beecham, and that's what you like to see. He's still playing hard.
Hoiberg has it stripped from him by Allen. Underneath that time as the ball was shot. It was an air ball, but he got caught for the push, and so for Tronson, it's his first foul. Now looking ahead to Ames again tomorrow night, another thought, Gary. East Waterloo is a similar team to North. Will that help Ames?
Well, I think yes. There won't be that much preparation from a different type of game. East Waterloo was in an up-tempo game, championship game last year with Iowa City, which they won in one of the great championship games. And the 3 teams, East Waterloo and either one of these 2 teams, pretty much alike in their concept of playing the game of basketball.
Allen's foul sends Cook to the line is Mel Green with Lauren Shalene on his left and sophomore coach Richard Hutchinson to his right. Watch the action while Wayne Clinton has seen his team put together a marvelous performance.
The old cliche, but it's just been really a team effort. I mean, every kid for Ames has had a nice performance.
Wayne Clinton mentioned it the other day. He talked about his team in the last 6 or 7 games really starting quickly, and that they really set the tone very early, very early.
Well, that was the key in this ball game today. And you know, when you're on a roll, sometimes we talked about carrying over the intensity. When you get playing good, you just can't wait to play the next game either. So it can work either way. They may come out smoking in the ball game on Saturday night.
Allen picking up his second foul. And now Cook checks out of the lineup. Get the feeling that Fred Hoiberg is going to get a curtain call after these free throws.
He'll probably get a few rounds of applause, don't you think, from the Ames fans?
42 for Hoiberg. That's Jason Dykes, number 41 in the lineup for North.
Well, the guy's had a great career. high school, that is. It isn't over yet for him. He decides where he's going to go to college.
Of course, the consolation game tomorrow for Beecham, who leaves with 24.
Let me tell you, that's a tough one to come back from right now. But it's easier, I think, after having played a game and gotten beat like this than it would to lose a heartbreaker by 2 or 3.
Beecham comes out to join the celebration on the little Cyclone bench.
Well, you look at Hoiberg right there, come finish with 43 points. Just a tremendous game. Did it all. Defensively, scoring, rebounding.
With the block threats of the attempt by Eric Simon, who's number 55. On the drive, it is Tim Legg, the nephew of assistant coach Bud Legg, Brains.
Legg pointing to some of his buddies over in the crowd, smiled. Hey, I got one, I got one. They say he's the comedian on the team.
And Singleton with his 18 points.
Singleton's going to have to say some thank yous to his teammates because they have dished him off a lot of nice passes for easy baskets tonight.
He has received a few. Speaking of tonight, join us again. We have a couple of excellent matchups in the Class A and 1A championship. Class A game coming at 6:30. Ablington, number 1 in the state in Class A, 25-0 against Iowa Mennonite. They're rated number 3 to 24-1. In the 1A game, IKM not rated against a team that averages 97 points a game in New Fonda. And now Anderson leads with 22. Mel Green Jr. appreciating the efforts of Tanzel Singleton, who was called out with 18 points. .206 to play, 92-56. Jumped to an 8-0 lead. They've never looked back. There's a timeout on the floor. Now here's a word from your local station.
It's year-end closeout time at Dewey Ford. Dewey is overstocked and must move 150 units before January 1st. Dewey has over 400 vehicles available, and prices have been slashed to move this inventory, like this 1991 Taurus with air conditioning, tilt wheel, rear defrost, AM/FM stereo, and much more for only $11,990. Or 1991 Ranger XLT with power steering, power brakes, and AM/FM cassette for only $79.90. Dewey Ford, downtown Des Moines at East 4th and Grand. Dewey's ready to deal.
Watch for episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation from seasons 1 and 2, weeknights at 11 on KDSM, Fox 17.
Don't feel bad.
Chip thinks his new friend Mike is so cool. Allie thinks he's
Eddie Haskell.
Kate and Allie.
Friday at 5:30 on KDSM, Fox 17.
Hi, I'm John Brown, Brown Motor Company, Perry, Iowa. When you make the drive to Perry to buy your next car, you'll leave saying, what a deal!
Gary, another way to put Ames' performance in perspective is to realize that North has not given up more than 73 points in a game all year. Now they've given up 19 more than that.
Yeah, well, this isn't indicative of the North club. Everybody knows that. It's just one of these games where one team plays extremely well and the other team can't get it on track. They've had nothing to be ashamed of going out of here. Certainly do not like to go out with this type of performance and ending the season, but they've had a great year.
All the starters out for both teams now. For North, that's Mike Pacina, number 12. Teams with number 32, John Moorhead. Up front, they've got number 41, Jason Dykes. Also in the lineup, 55, Eric Simon, and 51, Sekoder Tyler. And for Ames, it's number 35, Brian Coffey. As you look at the North High bench, also in number 43 is Mark Milliman. 55, Eric Warmy. 15, Ryan Carver. And 31, Bono Luce. Jason Dykes, good football player, second team all-conference wide receiver. And Carver has the rebound. Ames against Waterloo East. I think we're in for quite a championship tomorrow night.
I think it'll be a great basketball game. And like I said, I think East, even though they're the defending champion, they like their position coming to this game because of all the buildup that was made about this game being the championship game.
Wayne Clinton wants to make sure everybody gets in. Number 11, Bryce Freeman checks in. Mona Luth goes out.
Now, you want to make sure every kid gets in this ball game because if you go to the championship game, you can't always get everybody in, depending on how that game's played. So every kid likes to be able to say he played in the state championship.
Kevin Lawler also in for Ames. He's number 51. Like his dad, Pat, was an assistant the last time Ames won a state championship back in '76. Wormy on the foul. 1:11 to go. 92-56 Ames. Dykes with his first point. Again, the scoring leaders, Hoiberg, 43 for Ames, Beecham, 24 for North. Nice shot by Kevin Lawler. The Little Cyclones will go to 20-3. The Polar Bears will go to 21-3. And they will play Carroll Kemper in the consolation game here tomorrow afternoon.
Nothing more satisfying, Larry, than not only to get in a state tournament game, but then to get your name in the book and score, like Lawler said.
Dykes tries to save. And almost nails our timeout coordinator, Kevin Dorrington, with a pass. And we're back on the air at 6:30 tonight with the Class A championship game, the 1A title game to follow.
Should be two good championship games there. Teams match up pretty well.
Leon Paris clearing the rebound for the Polar Bears. Led from start to finish after scoring the first 8 points of the game. They led by 6 at the quarter, 22 at the half, 26 after 3 quarters. And this semi-final victory has gone to Ames in a big way. Final score, Ames 94, North 58. That's the end of the game with the score. Ames 94, North 58. We'll be back at Veterans Auditorium in just a moment.
It might not make a big difference to you that your Farm Bureau agent is one of the industry's best trained. Then again, maybe it will. You might not be impressed that your Farm Bureau agent is always looking for innovative insurance and financial solutions. But someday, you might be. And you might not think it's important to plan for your future with a preferred client review. But maybe you should. The Farm Bureau family. Our most important policy is caring.
Seems like every day there's something in the news about the environment. People are concerned about the soil and the air, and about our water supply. They want to make sure it's safe for their families, safe for the future. I do too, because I work with chemicals. So I use them safely. I never use more than I need, and I keep them away from water sources, because I care about my kids, and I care about my land.
Brought to you on behalf of the American farmer by the makers of Dual.
With Tim Seaman and Gary Thompson. This is Larry Morgan, where Ames is down north in the semifinals, 94-58. Gary, I'm not sure what more we can say about the performance of that man's team.
No, they just did a tremendous job. They came out, they're well prepared, they were loose. I think that was the key. They put the defensive pressure on, and that pressure turned it around. They forced a lot of turnovers and jumped it. North, give them credit. They came back from 18-2 down to 22-16 at the quarter, and then it was 11 straight point run by Ames again that took the game away.
So the stage is set for what should be a good 3A championship game, Waterloo East against Ames. We'll be back at Veterans Auditorium in just a moment.
The corn is high and healthy here, and things are as they should be. Here, there's no velvet leaf, no cocklebur, no Canada thistle, and there will be no carryover, because this farmer has changed from atrazine to Banvel. Banvel, with no carryover. That's a change for the better. From atrazine to Banvel, the changing of the guard.
Norwest Bank proudly salutes the spirit of competition displayed throughout the 1991 Iowa Boys State High School Basketball Tournament. We have all proudly come to expect the best.
For Wayne Clinton, Gary, 3 years of sub-state frustration and now a chance at the championship.
Well, he's going to enjoy this. The first time in the state meet. Will then be his first time in this state championship game. He's had 5 straight winning seasons now at Ames High.
The final score in the 3A semifinals today. In the first game, Waterloo East over Carroll Kemper, 78-75. In the second game, Ames 94, North 58. We hope you have enjoyed this telecast of the 1991 Iowa Boys State High School Basketball Tournament. Join us tonight at 6:30 for the A and 1A championship games featuring Applington against
Young
Iowa
Republic. And then come August the 2nd, and he was thrust into the spotlight all over the world. There's probably nobody in the country who doesn't know who he is now. Would you welcome, please, Mr. Wolf Blitzer.